of trading markets. Welcome to LiveWithOscar.com's 2794th edition of these videos I like to show you. And in these videos, I like to teach you technical analysis, and that will help you gauge the markets moving forward. And of course, that's what this video is going to be about. So thank you for tuning in. Please remember that trading is very risky. Never trade without stops. Put your protective stops in first before you ever enter into a position. You will live a lot longer in this business if you do that. All right, so I'm back, and I took I rested for about 2 weeks at the end of August. I kind of hung around the office, but I kind of rested. It was great. I haven't taken 2 weeks off in years. God knows how long. So that was fun. What are we left with? Well, in the last video I left you with, I basically said, okay, the YM or the Dow has left us with a double top. It's Friday. We got a 3-day weekend. We're going to deal with that double top on Monday, Tuesday. What happened? The double top came right in, right? So the market is pulling back. Don't panic. I promise I'll show you reasons why. Yes, it's going to pull back. This is what happens. Don't panic. Lots of reasons to think that it can't pull back for too long. The main reason is in about 12 to 14 days, we're going to have a Fed meeting. They're going to lower rates. The market's going to go boom. So stop worrying. But I'll show you some charts to prove that out. What else do we have? So we're back to work. Watch out for these crazy markets. Lots of volatility. Traders, I didn't know if I was going to talk about this in this video, but I guess it's time to mention it to you cats because I have been doing some soul searching. So let me see if you guys understand this. I wasn't going to sit on a chair, but let's move my stuff and we'll sit on a chair and see what happens. All right, so traders, I thank you for tuning into these videos since 2006 and following the OMNI since 1982, literally. It used to go out by fax, I swear. Then it started to go out when the internet showed up. I was able to get it out on the internet, and you see where we are today, right? And I also host these OMNI camps that I invite a handful of you traders, 5 or 6 of you at a time. I bring you into Las Vegas for a 4-day extravaganza where I teach you the art of Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, the OMNI. Well, I have to say, kids, my 60th birthday passed in August. I know, I only look 12, but my 60th birthday passed in August. And sometimes you just got to start slowing things down a little bit, right? So now, trading I love, and analysis I love, and I love doing these videos, but in some way I got to start to learn to tone this down just a little so that between 60 and 70 I can enjoy my life, right? So here's what I've decided to do. We are going to start phasing out OMNI camps slowly, but not right now. Here's what's going to happen. I've got an OMNI camp scheduled. In fact, it's on the board. I've got an OMNI camp scheduled for the 19th through the 23rd of September this month. If you would like to join me at that OMNI camp, you've got to go to OMNIBootcamp.com and fill out an application. However, here's what I'm going to do. From this OMNI camp forward, I am stopping holding classes. I am going to sell off the OMNI camp compound, not the one I trade from, but the other one. And I am going to start doing OMNI camps for one person only at a time. And I'm going to have a little waiting list. And once a month, I'll choose one of you off that list and we will have camps of 1. I've got to start to tone down my life somehow, kids. I work 20-hour days every day of my life. Now, again, I love markets and I love doing these videos, and I'm not going to stop right away. Nothing like that's going to happen. But slowly I got to figure out how to tone my life down a little bit and enjoy some of it. One of the easiest ways to get there is to start phasing out OMNI camps. I've taught many of you. I've helped a lot of you around the world. So OMNI camps are going to phase down to 1 person only. I will leave the application on OMNIBootcamp.com. If you have a month that you want to come out to camp, there's only going to be 1 person per month. Let me know what month you want to come out. I'll call you back. We'll set a date and we'll start to tone my life down a little bit. Omniacs, I give you everything. I give you my blood. But, I got to tone this down somehow. So I just thought I would bring that to your attention. If you really want to grab these camps before they phase out, fill out your Omni Camp application. I'll find 1 day out of a month this year to get you involved. So I needed to bring that to your attention. because I have to say I spent a lot of time in these last few weeks wondering, Oscar, why the hell do you work so hard at 60 years old? Are you insane? So I just love these markets so much I can't control it, but that's how I'm going to slowly start to phase out. So let's see what happens. But for now, let's take a look at what's on the board. We got some great stuff for trading on Wednesday. When we see a double top, we sell a double top. Traders, did you see that double top I left you with on Friday? The first thing we did was crack Monday and Tuesday. Monday holiday, it still went during the holiday. Tuesday, severe crack. It's even dropping again tonight on Tuesday night. So that worked perfectly. Number 2 on the board. When we see a double top, we sell a double top. That bodes for the downside. Number 2 on the board is this. And don't panic. I promise you, I'll show you reasons why. Deflation in crude oil, interest rates, and raw materials will push this market right back up. That is the way it works, kids, no matter what your feelings are about this, no matter who's running for president, all that stuff, push off to the side. Markets operate based on other markets doing certain things, and that is that. If you get these markets to do what I'm telling you, raw materials are dropping, interest rates are dropping, crude oil is dropping, it is going to push the financial markets back up. What else do we have? Well, we've got a meeting coming up where Powell promised he's going to lower rates. When you raise rates, you're putting the brakes on to stop a market from continuing to go up. When you lower rates, you're fueling the fire. It's going to go back up, kids. That's the way that works. So yes, we're dealing with the double top. We're going to deal with some pullback. They might pull these things back all the way till the day of the meeting or the week of the meeting. And then once that meeting starts and the Fed lowers rates, likely we're bottoming out and heading right back up. Nothing has broken. Nothing severe has broken. Markets are flying around. So deflation in crude, you'll see it on the chart. Interest rates are dropping because bonds are rising. You'll see that on the chart. Raw materials have been dropping for the last 12 months and continuing on. That helps every company on the planet that makes a product, as well as crude oil dropping helps every company on this planet that makes a product. And interest rates dropping helps every single company ever invented because everyone's got debt and lower interest rates makes the debt cheaper. That helps companies. All of that equates to the stock market going back up, kids, but not tomorrow. Things take time. So we'll ride this thing down a little and then we'll ride it back up once we reach equilibrium, which will happen, and I'll show you the charts. I hope that helps. Don't panic. Third thing on the board is OMNI camps all winding down. I do have one September 19th through 23rd. I will take 2 or 3 of you for that one. After that, it is one only. If you want to join me, go to omnibootcamp.com and fill out those applications right now, and I will call you back. OMNI camp is in 3 weeks. You better hurry. After that, you'll be shut out. So it's going to be nice to tone life down just a little. We'll see where that goes. Traders, what's next? I've got some great charts I want to show you. I think in those charts, you'll see that there's no need to really panic. Yes, we're going down for a little while, but it's not going to go all that far. If things change, of course, we'll take this one day at a time. So let me show you those charts, and let me remind you of this. If you are in a trade, and if it's going against you, of course, you'll stop winning first, and you got in the trade, and if it's going against you, and you're about to do something crazy like cancel replace or start cost averaging and buying more, don't do that. Instead, say this to yourselves over and over again, and don't touch the keyboard. Are you with me? 1, 2, 3. Stop, sir! Emotions are rock and roll, traders. I will see you at the site now. Let's go look at some charts. Traders, I left you with this on Friday, right? I showed you the double top. I said we're going to have to deal with this Monday and Tuesday. There is a double top. This is where the market was, and that is what happened, right? Exactly what a double top is supposed to produce. Perfect, right? Nice little down move. Boom. So, you've got absolutely Russell looking ugly here. Look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ failure at this 50-bar moving average, which does such a good job on the daily NASDAQ. A little bit got past here, but failure, and finally, and we're a little bit lower right now as I do this video. So that looks terrible, right? Russell looks terrible, NASDAQ looks terrible. So check that out, the Russ. I left you, in fact, I showed this to you in the last video as well, and I said, very interesting juncture. Look at what happened. Ba-boom. So that looks terrible, right? Well, let's look. The Dow, the Russ, the NASDAQ. Here's what I'm going to tell you, kids. Don't panic. It's not so bad out there. Why? Well, here's why. This is crude oil. Crude oil was trading at 84.52 a month ago. It is trading at 70.10. In fact, it is 69.80 right now at this second. It's even lower than this. When crude drops like this, you must understand that's an immediate stimulus to any and all companies that produce a product. Immediate, right in their pocket, immediate when crude drops as much as it's dropping. Then you've got this. The weekly crude, below the 200 bar moving average, has finally broken the bottom of this. Believe me, the street is watching this, kids. They are watching this. It is finally outside of this pennant, and the street is going to pound on it, and that's what they should do, because that's what happens when a market gives you a signal like that. So, crude oil getting cheaper. And then there's interest rates. Look at this. This is all good. Every bit of this that you see is good. Do you know why? Because finally, we've got a channel that goes up instead of down. Bonds were in a channel on the way down for years. Now they're in a channel on the way up. When bonds go up, interest rates drop immediately, whether or not, it does not matter if Jay Powell says a word. When the market, the chart of bonds go up, interest rates are automatically going down, and that, my friends, is a pennant flag right there before your eyes, which bodes for higher levels. So if crude is going down, bonds are going up, I promise you that is absolute shot in the arm for the stock market. Now, the dollar index. People have asked me about this. Oscar, after the Head and Shoulders, the dollar cracked. Is that a big problem? Well, you know, I have to tell you, it's at $1.01 to $1.02, right? Our dollar is worth more than $1. Coming off a little bit is nothing. All this allows is for sovereign funds all over the world to scoop up our dollars, to buy our bonds, to buy our stocks, to buy everything that we have in this country. To buy our real estate, you've got to buy our dollars. So don't worry about the dollar going down. It's above $1. It's above par. Nothing wrong with that dollar right now. That helps. Inflation, kids. Here's where we were when everyone went crazy in the world and COVID wouldn't allow us to have anything, right? When the supply chains were in trouble. At the height of inflation, we got to 140.55. We are trading at 95.20 right here. That is nothing but a spiral down. Had this little uptick, went into a Head and Shoulders, boom, right back down we go. Inflation cooling, bonds going up, which means interest rates are cooling. The price of crude oil is cooling off. That tells me to show you this next chart, the E-mini S&P. Daily bar chart, E-mini S&P. This is an inverted Head and Shoulders. This is a Head and Shoulders, left shoulder, right shoulder, here's your head. Inverted Head and Shoulders. What happens after an inverted Head and Shoulders? The market is supposed to go higher. Once the right shoulder resolves itself, the market is supposed to go higher, as it did. Where are we sitting right now? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Once this shoulder resolves itself, it will go higher, because that's what inverted Head and Shoulders do. Now, you've got inverted Head and Shoulders, and everything I just showed you telling us that the market's going to have to go back up next week, if not early, if not late this week, but likely next week. Who knows how long it'll take to resolve itself, but once it does, it should head right back up. You see it in the past. This is the same formation. What else is out there? Then we've got this, the weekly. It's not so scary. Do you know why? All-time highs ever made in the S&P, we're here, we're here. That's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? This is all that's happened, kids. We're here. This is the all-time forever high. We're right here. That's not so terrible. That's not so scary. Day trading, yes, the market whips around. It looks scary. Right now, that is not very scary. And what are they going to do? Take it down until the Fed meeting? So let them. There's a trend line right here. Let them take it down into the Fed meeting, right down to the trend line. If that's what they want to do, let them do it. We'll see where that's going to go. Then you've got this. NVIDIA. Many of you have asked me about NVIDIA. Oscar, are you going to show us NVIDIA? What's going on with NVIDIA? Well, I'll show it to you after that really bad call of the bull flag. Last week, it didn't work. We went down, down, but there is this. First of all, fantastic company is not going out of business anytime soon, right? We know that. Look at the hold at this average, almost again here. Look at the hold at this average. So if they drop it down to that average and it holds, that's what it normally does before it heads back up. Right? So let it come down here. Let's see what happens when it gets there. And the last question I had for my OMNIacs around the world was Bitcoin. Oscar, what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, in all honesty, you got the same sort of thing happening. You're about to test an average that seems to make Bitcoin bounce. Now, I will tell you this. This seems to be in lockstep with the stock market. Stock market's been going down. Bitcoin's been going down. That kind of makes sense to me. Let's see what it does if it gets under the 200-bar moving average. Then, of course, supported at the trend line, supported at the trend line, supported at the trend line. Will it find support at the trend line? I give it one day at a time, but there's nothing wrong with it finding support at the bottom of this massive, massive bull flag. Nothing wrong with finding support there, but it looks like we will pierce that average first. That is what I've got for Bitcoin. Traders, I hope all of these charts help. I hope you show up at livewithoscar.com where you'll find me in my live trading room. And I hope you fill out your OmniCamp applications and get an OmniCamp education before they wind down and go away. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all at livewithoscar.com.